For example, if you see a tree, if the tree can give like 100 fruits, they're gonna give you 100 fruits a month. If they can do like 200, they're gonna do 200. They're not gonna do halfway. They're gonna explore their maximum.
I love what you said about the tree. If the tree has the resources, if the seed happens to fall in a place where there's great nutrients and water, it'll produce to its capacity. If the same seed happens to fall someplace that less nutrients, less water, maybe it produces 50 fruits, but it does the best that it can with the resources available. But unlike a tree, a human, somebody watching this, they could move.
They have it like a chance to move and go to another place and search for another resource, right?
The human, you, could choose to move and go find better resources and be even more. Today I'm chatting with Lyoto Machida. Lyoto is a UFC champion multiple times. He went 16-0, started his career 16-0. And people didn't know how to deal with you. You had very unique style that other people at UFC did not see, that people are coming from wrestling background or a lot of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, boxing, etc. But you had unique circumstances in your life of your training style, the way that you did things. And I remember the people were very afraid of you at that time. That you went right up to the top, undefeated, took the belt, kept the belt. And how did things start there? What was your early life like that led to your mindsets and the style that you created that allowed you to go conquer so many fabulous opponents? You're strong, respectable, tough men. So everything started when my father, he's a Japanese guy, he came to Brazil in 1968 as an immigrant. And once he was in Brazil, he decided to challenge himself. So he brought with him the Japanese spirit, to be more precise, the Japanese old spirit, because the new generation in Japan, they think differently, they do things different, but people who was born in right after the big war, people who was in charge of helping to rebuild the country, they have a different mindset. And my father was one of these guys. So I was born in Salvador, is in one state in Brazil. Then I moved close to the Amazon. And my father, we are like four brothers, no girls in our family. And the main concept of my father the main concern was to teach us, to form us as a man, not as a fighter. Because he always said like that, my son, you can choose whatever you want to choose, as long as you don't go against the principle of life, of God. It's like everybody knows what's wrong, what is correct, what you have to do, what is right. So when I started karate when I was 4 years old, I have karate as my background. And I had opportunity to training sumo, amateur sumo, which pretty much very funny because I'm a skinny guy and I could fight sumo. Less than 10% body fat with sumo training.
Because in Brazil there is a huge community, Japanese community. So they every year they do parties about Japanese culture, foods, and they used to have a sumo competition. Then I started practice sumo as well. Then when I turned 15 years old, I started doing jiu-jitsu because when I saw UFC for the first time with a little guy like a Royce Gracie beating everybody, I was impressed with that. And also I put in my mind that I would like to be a champion in this sport. Even though I didn't know if it would be a sport one day, and that became a sport, like a huge sport nowadays. But it's important to mention that because I only got in the point that I want to be as a champion 16 years later. People sometimes they think I want to do something, and fast gonna happen. But it's not like that. Life, to be something like concrete, something like very realistic, it takes time to achieve that. And especially now with the social media and everything, we have everything like instant, like likes, comments, pictures, and everything. So our brain is get used to be like that, like our brain is training like that to have everything right away. And when you go to a real life and you find out that that's not the right way to get something, sometimes you frustrate yourself and you quit. But you have to believe that. Like there is one story, like in China, I don't know if people know about the Chinese bamboo. It's a very interesting story because Chinese bamboo, it's when you plant the bamboo, they don't show up anything for 4 years. You cannot see anything. And all of a sudden, in the last year, in the 5th year, they can grow like 25 meters. I don't know how much that in
25 meters is about 80 feet.
Yes, it's about 80 feet. It can go like 80 feet in 1 year. So, but if you see the Chinese bamboo, when you plant, everything start to happen inside, like biochemicals start to happen. But you cannot see. It's like our life, Sometimes you study, you train, you work, and nothing happen. But it takes time. You have to have the consistency, the persistence, and believe in yourself to get there. That's what happened to me. And then I put in my mind when I was 15 years old, just 16 years later, I could be on the top position as a champion. And in that moment when Dana White, the president, UFC president, they put the belt on my waist, like a film was passing my mind, seeing everything that my father he taught me since I was a child. He used to say everything like that: principle, respect, discipline. So you have to have a dream and making everything happen.
I've had this a very similar conversation to this element about immediate gratification versus the long-term planning. And I had this conversation with Michael Chandler. You know Chandler?
Yes.
So he is 3-time champion at Bellator and some top contender at UFC even right now. And I was in Florida visiting him. We had a Rolls Royce car down there, and Mike and I are sitting in the back of the super luxury, nice car, and we're just having a little chat. And he started laughing about. He said he was 3-time champion at Bellator, spent 12 years at Bellator. Was college wrestling before that, and before that, and before that. And he said in the time that he just moved to UFC months before then, he started getting a lot of attention because it's the UFC. Yes. There's that spotlight that goes with that organization. And he said that he's an athlete for every day for 20 years. He's training for 20 years. But then when he goes over there, they treat him like he just jumped up like the bamboo one day. Yeah. Without the 4 years prior effort. He just, everything's just great. Everything just great success. And we laughed about that. And I said, well, we're sitting in the Rolls Royce now because it took me, 35 years to be a overnight success. It was only the 30 years of work.
He earned it.
So only 30 years of work before that happened. For me, 20 years for him, 30 years for me. So I think about that overnight success. And you and I, you were asking me earlier, what are your other hobbies? And I don't have any other hobbies. All I really think about is different areas of business. And I enjoy my life. I enjoy other areas of life. I studied philosophy. I had a minor in psychology, a minor in philosophy. I like different art. You see statues all around the place. That I like different types of art, marble and bronze, and natural stone and natural wood. And I like beautiful things. But I always think about when I say business. You ask me what are your hobbies? So all I think about is business. But when I think about business, well, that is the crossroads. It's like you saying, like you think about martial arts, maybe is that, well, but that is this context of life that if you want to run a successful business, you have to be useful to other people. You have to help other people solve a problem.
Yes.
So it's my job to make myself more useful every day, that I could help other high quality people solve a problem. So, nobody's going to pay you anything in your business if you can't. You have to alleviate pain or add something beautiful to their life. You have to take away some suffering or add something good. And ideally, you'll do both. And if you don't do that, you won't have a successful business. So it's my job to help other people to live a better life. And I think there's a lot of overlap. I've talked to many the real masters of martial arts and people that I think both of us would respect. And Royce was just here. I've spent a couple of weeks of my life with Royce now, where we spend quite a bit of time together and get to know each other. And Royce is the type of guy that if the dishes aren't done, he'll wake up in the morning and do the dishes. And I say, I can't have Royce Gracie over doing the damn dishes. Just tell him stop. Don't do that. But he's built his life that way, and everything's supposed to be precise and clean and orderly and nice, and you're that type of person. But my version of that is, as I said, is make yourself a little better every day. And you mentioned Japan, and I thought that I had the term Kaizen, which that continuous improvement principle.
Kaizen, yeah, continuous improvement.
In my business school, the Americans might have mispronounced it Kaizen, so Kaizen, huh?
Kaizen, which means like continuous improvement. Yeah, that's the philosophy that Japan uses when he lost the war. No? So they put that in the mind of every single Japanese, that Kaizen, like today is better than yesterday, tomorrow is better than today. So with that philosophy, we can rebuild Japan again. So that's what happened.
I've thought about, and I'm curious your perspective, that you've lived your life with a lot of discipline. You had great mentors and coaches around you. No doubt you had a great team of people around you at various times to help you on your journey. And I think of that principle of, every day, if you're really giving 100%, if you were doing what you could, you should be more capable. Tomorrow you should be able to do even more. And if you maximized your day, tomorrow you should be able to do even more. And so 100% effort should produce a slightly better result day after day after day that leads to those great victories later of 16 years later.
Yeah, 16. Yeah, for sure. That's what you said. So that's one of the things that I like to mention, is to give our best day by day. You know what I mean? Because if you see nature, I like to compare with nature. If you see a tree, if you see an animal, so they always make the best, do the best. For example, if you see a tree, if the tree can give 100 fruits, they're gonna give you 100 fruits a month. If they can do 200, they're gonna do 200. They're not gonna do halfway. They're gonna explore their maximum, But as a human being, we have the word that we call choice. Because of the choice, sometimes we choose to not give our best. So even though sometimes we have the potential, but because we have the option, no, today I'm not gonna do that. Today I can only give an example, 100 fruits, but I'm gonna give 50. Because we have the choice. But our essence, our nature, is to give our best and to overcome everything and give our best. That's the one concept that as a champion in life, you have to have, man. If you don't have that, you lie yourself. If you lie yourself, you're not gonna believe anybody, you know what I mean? You're not gonna get there because you cannot lie yourself. You have to be honest to yourself. That's what I like to talk to people now, because it's very important.
I love what you said about the tree, that if the tree has the resources, if the seed happens to fall in a place where there's great nutrients and water, it'll produce to its capacity.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
300 fruits if it could.
Yes.
If the same seed happens to fall someplace that is less nutrients, less water, maybe it produces 50 fruits, but it does the best that it can with the resources available.
Yes.
But unlike a tree, a human, somebody watching this, they could choose to go. They could move. They could find more resources for themselves, couldn't they?
They have it like a chance to move and go to another place and search for another resource, right?
The human, you, could choose to move and go find better resources and be even more and accomplish more and be more and do more and be an inspiration to others around you. You could choose to move. The tree's stuck there, but and the tree still makes the best of its circumstance. So would it not be fair that for a human to make the best of its circumstance, there should be the searching for knowledge, searching for a better way,
yes,
to do better tomorrow,
Kaizen.
Find more resources.
Yes.
If you're watching this, the first thing I'd say to you is know that it's very rare to even come across this site. To know this community is actually a very rare thing. It's not easy to just see everywhere you go. For me, it's part of a journey that took me 15 years, believe it or not, going way back to the 90s, but I won't go into all of that now. But to come to here and meet these people and take these courses on, it's a rare thing. Okay, I'm not kidding you. And the first thing I say to you is go early. If you're looking at this, go early on the course. There's so much information. There's so many readings, so many books, so many things. And the guys, to be fair, were phenomenal. They were understanding. And if you do happen to think, I'm signing up tomorrow, I only heard of it, doesn't matter. The guys will help you along. I just wish I'd gone in earlier. That was my only wish. So that would be my main thing. Go. It's a unique course. It's a lot of work, but if you're not prepared to do a lot of work, then you probably shouldn't be an entrepreneur at all. Or you shouldn't be in business at all. You're going to have to do a lot of work, and it is mind altering in a good way. And I'm still processing it all. And I'm so looking forward to going back over the content that I've had. We've had so many books, so many things. I could sit here for 20 minutes just talking about it, but I can't. So whoever you are, wherever you're listening, just know that was my experience, and I hope you take it, and I wish you the very best in your future success